There's a book of Masdaq, chapter 2. The nature of Daesuma. Daesuma is an old tradition of the Chaku people. It was never practiced by the Yagorjans of Sheshamaya, but when Yagorjanism was introduced, local traditions were included. The idea that an adult would leave his home and wander was an important thing to do in our culture. The belief was that through doing this act, the young one would grow to become an insightful adult. It was believed that our experiences helped to shape our future decisions. The Yagorjans of Chaku Island encouraged this tradition because they wanted support, saith Zuttenberg, about tradition and charlatanism. It is odd that the holiest practice be from our traditions, and that the only disdainful thing is what's proper from the outside. Says Zuttenberg once more, in that sense, Yagorjanism is the usurper and our traditions wholesome. What is native to one's land ought to be learnt and taught, for what is alien never had its place with us. The real charlatans were those who wanted to be as others were. The value of the Daesuma is the secretion of its walk. One step in this practice of 1,000,000 to come is the beginning towards newness. If we want newness, it's not enough to just want it. Action, solid action, must follow our words and intentions. Even if we should sin, let it be that our actions speak rather than our words or our intents. For hasn't it been shown in previous scriptures that the play of life is founded on the actions of its players, not on the whims and fancies of its spectators? So take that first step, that it may be followed by a second and third one. As the steps increase in volume, the changes will be felt, and it will be scary. Do not turn around to see what's left behind, nor hesitate to move forward, for to do so would be a failure at this practice. It's better to have not begun the journey if we should go back on it. For what truth or insight lay beyond the steps that we are blocked by our very own fear and unwillingness to persevere in the reckoning? That truly is a great shame and concern. The Daesuma is not an excuse for an excursion around the countryside. The Daesuma is not a journey with a return ticket home. The Daesuma is not an eternal journey. It's not a journey with a return ticket home. The Daesuma is an eternal journey of death and destruction. It is a journey of resurrection and conversion. There are no return journeys in the lapse we call our life. For if they were, wouldn't we be able to live our previous ages once more? As life is constructed without a return, so shall our sojourn in this reckoning be. Without return shall its name call an adherent to respond. Hence, knowing this, we have only one request before such a grave task is undertaken. Live what you want before you do it. Love as you like before you do it. Make peace with your enemies before you do it. Rekindle lost relationships before you do it. For where is the chance hereafter to do these things of life? Thence your experience known as an adhana is complete, and you qualify for this first act in being a chaku, or walking in the Daesuma for our greatest ritual, the menzibit. Thus ends chapter 2 of the book of Masdaq. It really talks about the walk of the one-sidedness, the walk in which there is no return. The walk, when you start walking, you will not return, because that is a walk that continues on. And there's a lot of examples of that in our life as well. You know, when we decide to grow up, we cannot go back to being a child again. We may be childish in many ways, but we realize that it is important to just continue walking and not look back. It reminds me a bit about Star Wars, you know, the scene where Master Qui-Gon, when Qui-Gon the Jedi, I look a bit like him right now, told Master Skywalker to come with him onto the ship with Padme, and the mother said to her son at that time, don't ever look back. Don't look back. Just carry on. Just continue walking. Don't look back. Well, that is what a Daesuma is. And that son, Anakin Skywalker, continued walking, and he did not look back. He did not see his mother crying. He did not see what was happening behind him. He dare not look back, and just continued on with life, as painful as giving up that pass is. Sometimes we are called in certain situations in our lives to do that, especially if we've lost a loved one. How can we live without that loved one? Well, this is the time now to live without that loved one. We can't look back. Maybe if we look back, yes, we look, but it will only be memories that we're looking back on. They're in our hearts, they're in our prayers, but we have to live a life wherein they are not part of our lives anymore, at least in a physical sense. And that requires a Daesuma of sorts, a leaving behind the things that we lost. And you know what? I'm not bold in this. I'm not high and mighty in this. I have lost a lot of people in my life, and I understand and empathize with loss and with grief. And there's no shame in crying. There's no shame in our remorse, in all the things that we face at that moment when we feel that loss and that grief and that shame in our heart. But we can offer it up to God and learn to walk the line, walk the path where we live anew, because we were meant to live anew. It kind of reminds me of the time when I was with my grandparents. You know, one thing they told me, Johan, you've got many years to live beyond what we have. And it's true, they passed away about the year 2006 and 2010 respectively. And the fact that I've lived beyond that time till now, those are the extra years, if not the years to come, if I continue living. Only in God's will I know that. Do I know those things? So you see, the thing is that I miss them a lot. But the thing is that they know that the time we spent together was special, but that I have not much to complain about because my life was beginning as theirs was ending. And they shared that wisdom with me. So this is about life, about morality, about wisdom. It's not about religion or anything like that. And that's what the book of Masdaq is about. It's about empowerment. When we leave the things behind that are no longer of any use to us, we are empowered. And in some sense, I've left Facebook. I grieve leaving Facebook, but I know that I am more empowered out of it than in it. And I thank you all for listening.